All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Epic Conversation number 6 of 2020. I am here with the fantastic Rob Cressy. Rob is somebody who I have been aware of for maybe a year now, but I commented on a post recently, and he's someone that whenever I see him online, my eyes light up and I say, oh my gosh, no matter what he has to say, I'm in. Play video, please. So I'm so excited to have you here today, Rob. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Heather. And I've got to show you some love. So, you gave me a gift that has been living with me since you and I first connected. And it actually goes with what you just said at the very beginning. And what you had said to me is, Rob, I can count on your vibe making me feel good. And I put that in my compliment file. And every single day, as part of creating my being, I choose, I don't know, 3 compliments of the years and years worth of volumes that I have of amazing things that people have said to me. And one of those is you, Heather. So I'll sit there and it'll say, I can count on your vibe making me feel good. Heather, quick. And I just sit there and I think of Heather and I'm like, thank you so very much. And it creates myself.
Oh my gosh, I feel so good already. And I just wrote down compliment file. So now I will be creating one because that sounds pretty epic.
It's only the greatest thing ever. That is a gift for everyone, including yourself. Because how often is it like, oh, Heather, I love your podcast so much. And then what is the next thing that we say? Oh, no, it's not that big of a deal,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
cool, like something that is other than matching the energy and love that the other person does. Like, we're challenged often to be good receivers because we love to give and we don't want to be overly self-promotional or boastful.
Right.
So we like shoot down the compliment when in reality it should be like, oh, thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. I want to let you know that I received that. And to yes and this, the thing that we can do to be even the most gracious receivers ever is to allow that compliment to live with us forever. So now it's no longer just a fleeting moment where it goes in and out. Boom, you go and write that down, what someone says to you, like what Heather said to me. And now when you want to create yourself as the best version of yourself, or you just want to give yourself some good vibes and you allow others to do it for you, boom, now your compliment lives into perpetuity for me. So, like, literally, as long as I will have that and be alive, you are going to live with me.
That's what a gift. Oh my gosh. I'm letting that gift into all my nooks and crannies. Like all the
Go for
way,
it.
right? That's I had been working on my website today and I'm picking things to put in that people have said about me, and someone said the other day, you are the best coach. You're like the best coach, Heather. And I think I wrote a Facebook post about it because I was like, man, this is a hard one to get in. I'm having a hard time letting this one all the way in, right? I'm comparing myself to people. I'm picking instances where conversations didn't go how I wanted them to, right? But I wrote that one down. I was like, if other people, they're not the first person that said that to me. So if other people have said this, maybe other people should know, including me, every time I look at my website, right?
So here's
I'll
the
take it.
truth, though. We all can choose to be the best coach. So you
Yes.
can be the best coach. I can be the best coach. And nobody actually has to say that to you, Heather or Rob, you're the best coach. They can, and it's great validation. But you can choose to put on any hat or tell yourself any story that you want. So one of them for me, which sort of helps lead into the compliment that you gave me, is I am the happiest person on earth, shining my light on everyone. So literally, I show up every single day as the happiest person on earth. And guess what? So can you. So can the person listening to
Yeah.
this right now. Everyone can choose that, because what you realize is that I am the best coach or I'm the happiest person on earth. That is just a choice and a lens for how you see and show up in the world.
Yeah, and it's not like a pie, right? There's no limit to how many best coaches there can be, right? It is
Right.
unlimited. There's no limit to how many happiest people there can be,
Right.
right?
God forbid everybody decided to be the best coach and the happiest person. What do you think this
Yeah.
world would be like?
Imagine. Oh my gosh, let's go there. So, My first question for you, so that everyone can get to know you a little bit better, is what kind of work you do as a coach? Like, who are you? What's your story? And how'd you get here?
So, the type of work that I do is around personal growth and helping people create a roadmap and self creation and living their best life. So, the gift that I have received through my own self creating is waking up every single day, literally loving every second of my life. And what is the process? What is the lens? What is the way of being? What is the mindsets, the habits, the routines, so that you can create that in your life or anything you want in your life? So, step one sort of becomes the all right, you're already on this growth path, but you can have a lot of success, you can have a lot of money, but that doesn't mean you're happy. It doesn't mean you're fulfilled. It doesn't mean that you wake up every single day excited for what you want to do. So within that, I think of myself as the creating coach, and I create two ways: internally, mindset, heart set, creating your being, and externally. All right, you want to create amazing things in your life. You want to create a podcast. You want to build a brand. So I'm multifaceted. And the way I got here comes from a very simple quote that someone once said to me. They said, Rob, if you ever hope to get paid to do what you love, you better be doing it already. I was like, all right, well,
Whoa!
I want to get paid to talk about sports for a living. How do you do that? And it's like, all right, well, I'm at zero. I'm making no money. I have no relationships and I have no experience. Well, maybe I'll teach myself podcasting because that's what people who work in sports do. And then I should probably teach myself editing because that's what you do if you have a podcast. And then I should probably teach myself how to be a host and be on camera. And I might as well learn social media marketing and brand building and how to build a community. And I guess while I'm at it, might as well learn how to throw events and how to create apparel. And all of a sudden, my dreams were attached to the things that I wanted to learn. So immediately I adopted a growth mindset. So I started to create all of these things for myself, first on the external creation, because my background was in marketing, even though at no point in my life did my job get that way. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, my dream's to work for an ad agency and be creative. And college said, cool, you're going to be unemployed and live off your credit card for a year and a half. I'm like, oh, all right, awesome. Then it was a fast track to inside sales for a decade, something that I didn't love doing, even though I got good at it. You can get to a point where you're really good at something and make a crap ton of money and not wake up every day looking forward to slinging banner ads and text links.
Yeah.
So I said I'd regret it for the rest of my life if I didn't give it a shot at making my dreams happen. So that's when I cut the cord, burned the boats, and went all in on myself.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. My theme for February is love, which I know is your theme for the year, your word for the year. But what an incredible act of self-love to say yes to your own dreams like that. So, so powerful.
Well, the big Rob, what is it like? Like, what was the decision that made you go from like your stable job to going all in on this? And it's very simple. Well, two things. One, I never wanted to live a life of regret. If I had only dot, dot, dot. And the bigger risk is not taking the risk at all. Could you imagine living the rest of your life being like, I know I was put on earth to do this thing, but not being willing to see about it? No way. I'm taking that excuse and that possibility out of my life because that is not the way to live. So for me, it was the easiest thing in the world. And a lot of people miss this. Creating your dreams, the easy part is giving yourself the gift of going for your dreams. The hard part, air quotes hard, because hard is a
Hard, yeah.
choice, is now the roller coaster nature every day of going to zero and being like, all right, Heather and Rob, it's all on you. Go do your thing. And you're like, all right, well, where's the manual? They're like, oh no, you're creating the manual and you're
As you
selling the manual and you're learning how to build a manual to sell a manual at the same time. Oh, all right.
yes, that was such a fantastic description of entrepreneurship. Was that was like the best. I'm gonna write that down later because that's exactly what it feels like. It's exactly what we're doing, right? When we're we're branching out to do something that we're in effect creating, right? We're inventing our own job.
Right. So to get down on yourself for it being hard or there are obstacles, and this is actually something that it'll tie into our first conversation that I still, over a decade later, I'm not gonna say struggled with, but was challenged by. So I was on a creator circle coaching call with JP, and I was being coached, and I said, you know what? For the last decade, I have not stopped thinking about everything going on in my entrepreneurial journey and everything that I want to create. And I don't want to be thinking about this all the time. I was like, that's what I want to create today. I don't want to think about this all the time. And he's like, Rob, as you grow, your potential grows. So by design, you're always going to be doing things you have never learned how to do before. So therefore, you're always going to think about this. You can choose to have the lens of a victim. Oh my God, why am I thinking about this? Or you can be at peace with it. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, hold on one second. Let's look at that word peace. In all the declarations and ways that I create myself, the mantras, the words, amazingly, the word peace was nowhere in my vocabulary. I've never created with that word. So I'm like, let me get this straight. I can just choose to be at peace with the fact that I'm always going to be thinking about things, and I can remove the victim mentality, and I can be completely cool with the fact that I'm always going to be growing. So I'm always going to be doing things I've never done before. So therefore, it's okay. He's like, yes. I was like, all right. And immediately it was like an anvil came off my chest. Like you can feel it on yourself. And I was like, ah. And I felt like I was on clouds. But I was like, wait a second. If you're telling me I can choose to be at peace with this, can I also then choose to be at peace with everything in my life? And he's like, yes. I was like, I want to create a declaration for this. He's like, cool. What do you got? Now I'm on the spot. And I'm like, all right, I am at peace with everything. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh my God, are you telling me I can choose to be at peace with everything? He's like, boom, you got it. And literally in the course of 4 minutes, it took me 41 years of my life to figure this out or discover it. But in 41 years, in 4 minutes, I literally figured out how to be at peace with everything in my life.
The power of deciding, right? That's a $10,000 conversation right there. When I have people sign up, take the number that you paid, right? And show up with that enthusiasm for every call, right? And so I do that with Creator Circle. And you know, that sounds like you got your money's worth right there in that 4-minute conversation, right?
Well, yeah, I've been literally living on clouds since then. So when the anvil is removed from your chest and you see a new perspective and the world goes from black and white to color, now all of a sudden, well, imagine what the difference is between why am I always thinking about this and I'm at peace with everything in my life. I mean, it's a completely different person. It's a completely different way of being that I got to choose. And this is the narrative that we've tied in together from how we started to how we are right now. All I had to do is choose to accept this as my lens. So we now have the ability to choose every single aspect of our life, including how hard or how easy entrepreneurship is.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So much I feel of coaching, maybe you know, just from consuming coaches content online, is all about the power, the power, the power, the power, like accomplish things, accomplish things, accomplish things, do, take more action, all of this. And my favorite thing to do is to balance the power with ease, right? Because when those two click together, right, that's when life is so good, right? That's when you can have everything you want and not suffer, right?
So Heather, you're like, well, Rob, what is it that you do as a coach? Like, how do you exist? So what one of my clients said to me is, Rob, I want what you have. You run on autopilot. It seems so easy for you. How is that possible? And I'm like, because it is that easy for me, because this is a way of being, because why would I choose to show up as anything other than the happiest person on earth, or loving my best life and doing everything that I can and having fun to create? Because once again, all of that is a choice, and how you create your being will determine your actions. And the autopilot is how you create the habits and the routines and the mindsets and the ways of being every single day to create yourself, so that you show up as the person who does those things. And as you do them more, and you feel into them more, and you believe into them more, and you love them more, and you have this own self-creation, and you start to slowly get it and get it and get it, but you're never done getting it, and you're always getting better. That's how it becomes easy when you choose. This is a lifestyle. It's not hard, because it's literally a series of tens and hundreds and thousands and millions of micro choices.
Yeah. Yeah, so much so when I introduced people to inner work, so many of them referred to it as healing, right? Like, let's heal from our past, let's um the old wounds, or get over stuff I wasn't over. And I love JP's work and your work that takes it a step beyond healing, right? So healing, you can kind of come to peace, or kind of stop letting your past control you. But when you say self-creation, can you tell us a little bit about what you do? Because to me, healing is one step, and then self-creation is when you create the world for yourself, right? You become the inventor of your life, the designer of the world that you live in, and the person that you are. And I know you have a very solid self-creation practice. Can you tell us about that?
It's everything I do 101. So I think about another quote that changed my life, that my branding coach taught me: live by design, not by default. Once I heard that, I was like, I get it. The overwhelming majority of the world lives by default. They do the same things every single day. And they are on a hamster wheel that they've created, that they feel like they have no power against. So they're just going to keep doing the things day after day. As opposed to when you live a life by design, you are in charge of everything. You are the architect. You are the creator. If you don't like something, how did I create this? If I don't like this, let me create something else that creates something new that I do like. It's all a perspective, because at the end of the day, you can choose in every single micro moment what to do. So I have a podcast called Best Year Ever, and it is the easiest concept in the world. How do you create your best year ever? You create your best month ever, week ever, day ever, hour ever, minute ever, moment ever. And when you live on a moment to moment basis, and you just start stacking up those moments one at a time, no matter what else happens in your life, you're not looking backwards, you're not looking forwards, you're being present. And then you realize you have the ability to create anything that you want in your life. And if you don't think so, you're self-creating that. So literally, if you come from a lens of self-creation and everything's a blank canvas, now what I help people do is be a positive force for good that leads them to what's possible. What are the different tool belts or paintbrushes that we can paint on this canvas, so that you can self-create not what Rob wants, what you want?
The power we have to create what we want in every single minute. I get so excited when I see someone who hasn't tapped into that yet, because their brain is about to be blown. Right? My favorite question to ask is, what would be epic? And you described it exactly. Like, in this moment, when we're feeling not so great, when we're feeling overwhelmed, you could list all the ways we're feeling that we don't want to feel, right? My question to you is, what would be epic? Because it gets you out of survival mode and into, I'm going to thrive right now, right? And usually it's something like, take a break, take a nap, right? Have some ice cream, like whatever it is. And that's in the moment, right? But I loved how you described the moment. What would make an epic day? What would make an epic week, a month, a year, a life, right? If we can, on all of those levels, dream for ourselves, give ourselves the freedom to fully dream, right? That's where the living by design, right? That's where the rubber hits the road. That's
And
beautiful.
most people just haven't thought about these things. So one of the books that I share or quote the most is The Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. And what he said is, most people just don't spend enough time with their dreams to make them happen. You might think about something once, but then your dream doesn't happen. And you're like, oh, this stuff doesn't work for me. As
Yes.
opposed to the person every single day for a decade who writes down their dreams or reads their dreams or speaks their dreams out loud and feels into them and visualizes them and works on them every single day,
Yeah.
AKA the power of consistency. And when
Yeah.
you realize, Heather, you said it's easy, right? How do we make this easy? Well, easy can also be consistent. How do you make it consistent? Do the same thing every single day. So back to the micro moment. All we literally have to do is design the positive things that we love to do and design the person that we are every single day in the morning, and then rinse and repeat every single day this exact same process that says, here's where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, and this is the action that I'm going to take. You can literally create anything you want in the world. And it's
Yeah, tell
easy.
us a little bit easy, right? Tell us about what you do in the morning. What is your personal routine? I've seen you throw basketballs backwards. I know you make some I am statements, right? Like what helps you the most? What have you tried that you keep doing because it works?
So, simplest thing. So, go back to when Rob is at zero. I'm not this person. This is 12, 13 years ago. So, I'm at zero and I'm like, all right, I'm going to audit the success habits of the most successful people in the world, the people I aspire to be like and do things like. What are the habits, routines, mindsets? What are they doing? What can I learn from them? And one of the things that kept coming up, the average CEO reads 60 books a year. And I'm like, crap, I'm reading zero. Think I want to get on this. So I created a reading routine. But how do you go from being a person who doesn't read to somebody who does read? Because people who don't read come with the excuse of, oh, you know what, Heather, I just don't have the time, or I don't like reading, or reading's not for me. Insert whatever trash you want to throw in there. So I'm like, all right, if something is important enough, you will always find time to do it. Like I'm committed to this dream of mine. So all these successful people are doing this. I'm going to do this. So I'm claiming that this is important. All right. So if something's important enough, you'll find time to do it. When is there always time to do something? Always, 100% of the time. First thing in the morning when you wake up. Literally, first thing. So for the last 12, 13 years, I've read a book for 30 minutes every day for 13 years. In doing that, guaranteed that I made today better than yesterday. Because if you learn something by design, you are better today than you were yesterday. And then you just continue to rinse and repeat that. So for me, creating a morning routine of reading something activates my growth mindset immediately. And once again, when I was at zero, I'm like, all right, let's assume I make no money tomorrow, next month, or for the entire year. There is two things no one can ever take from me, ever. Number one, what I learn. If I invest in what I learn, no matter what else happens, no one
Yeah.
can take that from me.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
number two, my mindset, how I show up every single day. So I'm like, all right, what's going to help me get my goals faster? Positivity or negativity? And I'm like, positivity, of course. Negativity is going to take me further away from where I want to go. Great. Because of that, negativity no longer serves me. It has no place in my mind. Because of that, I am now the leader of Team Good Vibes. This is binary. This is a 1 or a 0. So, boom, negativity gone. So, next thing that I do is my self cultivation practice. I speak my declarations out loud. I've got a series of 25 I am statements that I speak. I am infinite love. I am abundantly generous. I'm a force of attraction. And I speak them, I feel into them, I visualize into them. Then I do some journaling, AKA morning pages, for those of you who have read the Artist's Way book. Then I meditate for 5 minutes, and that's the first hour of me being up.
It sounds like an incredible life.
It
And
is.
how do you notice when we wake up in the morning, maybe you had a bad dream or maybe you had worries from yesterday going on. Once you complete that hour, do you notice a difference in you, right? From wake up to an hour later?
Those worries are never there.
Mm.
So because the second I step up to reading a book, I'm not thinking about my worries, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm not reading. It's like a personal development,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, creativity, leadership, marketing, stuff that's going to make me better. So
Yeah.
I'm not mailing in the first hour of my day, because otherwise that's stupid. I'm intentional about everything that I do. So I'm actively reading and I'm highlighting notes when I'm reading my book. Boom, now I'm on that frequency. Also, part of the morning routine is gratitude and reading things that I'm thankful for. And I read my purpose every single day. And all these, my word of the year, I read my word of the year statements. And in doing that, Heather, when you say the fears, the worries, the things that were on your mind, well, those are gone because I just
Yeah.
recreated who I actually am now. And in
Yeah.
the event something is coming back from yesterday, well, congratulations. That's what my journaling's for. Start every single day. Happy Monday, happy Tuesday. Today's going to be a great day. Then I'm like, on my mind is this thing, and I don't like this thing. And I've been thinking about it and I'm being a bitch about it. And I'm using this time right now to release this judgment. And I forgive myself for judging myself that I'm fearful that X, Y, and Z is going to happen. From this point moving forward, I'm going to have an amazing day. Boom, I release it in writing, gone. And once you understand the practice, journaling in morning pages, the goal is to get what's in your head out of your head so that it's no
Yeah.
longer in your head.
Yeah. No, those things will build up, right? I heard that I know in relationship for every time you say one negative thing, like it takes five positive things to get you kind of back back to back to neutral again. And so I can so see how getting up in the morning and getting right into your routine and being intentional with what you think and intentional with your time, right? It's like you eliminate all those five things you have to do for every one negative thing that you thought, right? It just starts you off.
Or let's think about this alternative. Here's how default wakes up. Wake
Mhm.
up, check my phone, turn on the news, jump on social media, check email, check Slack. All right. That way of waking up just allowed the world, which is driven by fear and
Yeah.
negativity and somebody else's agenda, to now be the
Yeah.
way that you start your day. And when you
Yeah.
wonder why some people are grumpy or negative or not happy, do that for one day and then do it for a week and then do it for a year and then do it for 10 years and then do it for your entire life. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, Rob, that is the majority of the world. Like,
Right.
the reason I hold this so sacred is I understand what that old life is because I used to live the
Yeah.
old life and I'm no
Yeah.
longer that. So for me, I won't even live one day in that other way,
Yeah.
because one day turns to 2 days and here comes the negative momentum.
Right, right. And once you realize how good you can feel, when I take a weekend off my phone, I come back and every time I do that, I want my phone a little bit less, right? I depend on it a little bit less. And so I can see how when you wake up in the morning and you do your hour of read books you're interested in and say words to yourself that feel good, right? It's like you just get on that train, right? And you don't want to get off, right? Because it does
All
actually just feels
aboard!
good. It's not a
Choo
have
choo!
to. Yeah, it's yeah, it's not a have to. It's the I get to, right? Once you've felt how good it feels, you get to get up and take good care of yourself, right?
But it doesn't work for me. You guys are different. No, remember, same person that was dead broke living off his credit card for a year and a half out of college, who then 10
Yeah.
years later went back down to zero again. So to think that I am any special or any different than anybody else is completely incorrect. That this is literally the simplest thing in the world,
Yeah.
because all you have to do is choose one thing at a time. You don't, remember, I'm a decade plus into this. You don't need
Mhm.
this grandiose morning routine. All I need you to do is do one thing. And here's the simplest thing you can do to make your life amazing. The very first thing, and I failed to mention this to you, Heather, the
Mhm.
very first thing that I do every single day is I say to myself, today is going to be a great day. Every
Mhm.
single day. Well, why? Today's going to be a great day versus news, social media, email. Which one of those two
Yeah.
people is going to have a great day today, this
Yeah.
year, 10 years? In the
Yeah.
first hour of me being up, walking the dog, making my coffee, morning pages, I say or write, today is going to be a great day at least 5 times. You know how hard it is for me to say or do that? Zero. It takes one
Right.
second.
Right.
Drip,
Right.
drip. Today's gonna be a great day. 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 So now back to self creation. I
Yeah.
self create, creating a great day and a great year and a great life, literally just by saying to myself, today's gonna be a great day right when I wake up.
What a gift. And not what a gift it is just to you, it's a gift to everybody who's around you, right? Because then I get to see your stuff that you post on social media that I can depend on to make me feel good, right? Your wife, right? What is your wife's name?
Rachel.
Rachel gets to, be around Rob having the best day of his life. Your son Maverick gets to be around, his dad having the best day of his life, and it rubs off, right?
Well, it does. So I think about one of the things that I feel into in my meditation practice. And I only meditate for 5 minutes. So it's not like I'm doing 2 hours of meditation.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for myself and I'm doing this for others.
Yeah.
Imagine coming from that lens that when you self create yourself, yes, we do it for ourselves because we want to have the best year ever. But imagine doing this for everybody else because when somebody spills coffee on you at Starbucks, you're not flying off the handle. You say, that's okay. Or somebody cuts you off in the car. You're not tripping. Like, snowball effect. Life, once again, is going to throw adversity at you. So now let us be the grace in the world because once again, this is uncommon by design in the best way possible. This conversation you and I are having right now is a 1% of 1% conversation that so few people in the world can even comprehend what we're talking about.
Right.
Nonetheless, actually live this.
Right. Well, and I see in myself how this is compounded over time, right? So I don't have the exact same practices as you, but the mindset gets to be the same, right? And I was talking to someone the other day, and someone had said the phrase, "I have 99 problems and you're not one of them," some form of that, right? And I paused and thought, and I was with another coach, Sarah, and I thought, do I have any problems? And I was like, whoa, that feels like really ridiculous for me to say, right? Like, yeah, like I could name things in my life that people would call problems, but when I wake up in the morning and I'm happy to address and interact with anything that comes up in me because I know the attitude that I'm going to bring to it, then nothing becomes something that drags me down like, "Oh man, I got 99 problems." Right? It's a new way of seeing the world that not just frees up me, right? But it just like frees up the whole world around me from being a problem.
So as you're saying this, I was like, I'm gonna look up the definition of problem. I just
Yeah.
want to see like the
Uh-huh. What is
creation
it?
of a matter or situation regarded as unwelcome or harmful and needing to be dealt with and overcome. So as you're saying this, I was like, are problems a choice?
Yeah.
And looking at the definition, regarded as unwelcome or harmful. You know what the key word is
Unwelcome.
there?
Right.
Regarded. So
Yeah.
we can regard to choose this as good or bad. So as we speak right now, I'm wearing a necklace from my favorite book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And it says, what stands in the way becomes the way. So what you might look at as a problem, I look at as an opportunity or as a challenge.
Yeah. So what was happening the day that I said, I don't think I have any problems. I had gone out to lunch and I stand up from having lunch and I'm sitting on a balcony and my keys fall off my lap down off the balcony, right? I get up and trek around and the whole restaurant like heard my friend be like, "Oh no, the keys fell," right? I trek around and I go down and I find the keys. Other people come to help me. The restaurant is sending workers down to come help her find her keys. Everybody's interested. It is kind of a bummer. I have to like, look through all the stuff, but I get the keys to the rental Jeep that I had. I get back up and everybody's so excited that I got the keys, right? And instead of being like, I had a problem today, I dropped my keys, I literally organized an entire restaurant of people who were excited about my adventure going down and find these keys, right? I got surrounded by love. Everyone's excited for me. Everybody's happy. I got back in my car, drove away, and on the drive back, a bee flies into my car and hooks onto my hair. I stop the car immediately and slowly get the bee, this whole thing. And anyway, a series of events happened like this throughout the day after I had this conversation. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could have listed these events and said, I had the worst day ever. 10 things happened to me that were a problem, right? But instead, every single time there was a situation, right? The I'm having the greatest day mindset is what the foundation was, and all those things became miracles, right? That's the possibility of choosing to get up in the morning and have an amazing day. Like it's already decided, right?
So I will yes and this for you. So
Hmm.
let's put on our self creation hat.
Yeah.
Not only can we see them as not problems, but what I like to do, and I think about when I was on a Southwest flight and there was this like 85-year-old woman sitting next to me and she spilled her drink on my lap. No one enjoys doing this. You're on an airplane. Someone, old woman nonetheless, spills drink all over my lap. And my thought is, of course, I'm not like, oh, yay, my pants are all
Yeah.
wet. But you know
Right.
what the second thought is? Yes, because that means, according to the law of karma, when something
Mm.
negative happens in your life, something good is around the corner. So now in life, I see the lens that sometimes minor inconveniences are actually good because maybe that means I'm going to get a good parking spot at the mall. And I didn't know it at the time, but her spilling that on me maybe means I'm going to get a client or I'm going to get a free ice cream. But my lens is something good's right around the corner, baby. And the bigger this
Yes.
goes, so you can have as small as someone spilled my drink to
Mhm.
life changing things where you're like, oh my God, I'm crippled. Like, trust me, the
Yeah.
last decade of my life has not been linear. It's been a roller coaster, just tragic things have happened like everybody else. But what is
Mhm.
the lens for how you see it? And if you believe that an equal or greater thing will happen to that magnitude, you can get strength in anything.
Yeah, it keeps your eyes open to miracles, right? It keeps your eyes open. I call a miracle something I thought was impossible before actually coming true, right? And with an attitude like that, with a mindset like that of, oh, a thing that I really didn't want to happen happened, that means an amazing thing is around the corner. That means every time a negative thing's happen, you're triggering your eyes to open up for amazingness, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so incredible. I have my saying is that all phenomena is neutral, right? So I'm putting my own story on it. And so like the bee in my hair, I can create a whole negative story around it, or I can see it as an inherently neutral thing, right? And create whatever story around it that I want. I can see the circumstances of life. I was in Hawaii when this was all happening, and we were just constantly in awe of the beauty. I was there with the group, but we realized at the end it's not just Hawaii, right? It's the people we were with. They were all so positive, and like you said, they are not immune from suffering. These people, they've all got things that have happened in their life, but what these people have chosen to do is to open their eyes to the beauty around them, right? And this world is so beautiful, right? That it is actually pretty difficult. It's like really talented, in my opinion, to not be able to not see beauty when your eyes are open, right? When we wake up in the morning and look outside at the trees. Like we could sit here and list all the things about the world that are beautiful, right? Our conversation right now, and so I find it is actually, like you said, easy once you decide to do it, right? To open your eyes and see the beauty that's around us all the time.
And Heather, this is why you and I in coaching exists, so
Hmm.
that you can be around others who see the beauty to help you see the beauty in the world and in yourself. Because I'm a champion for everyone. I believe more in you than you even believe in yourself, and you haven't even worked with me yet. Like all of these things. And that's why coaching is there, because we are the opposite of perfect, which is why we are coaches, because we have the realization that we know the process for how to turn pain into transformation and how to create anything that you want in your life, because you cannot give to others that which you have not experienced yourself. So we want to help lead those who want to be on that growth path.
Yeah. I think I said to you at our first conversation, and I've heard it multiple times, how there's too many coaches or everyone's being a coach, right? And I let that get in my head for a minute, but I transmuted it into, oh my gosh, I want to be a coach because I've had multiple major awakenings that have made my life exponentially better, right? And have me know that I wake up every morning and help the world be a more beautiful place, right? And if every person that is a coach has had that same experience, then oh my gosh, I hope every single person on earth becomes a coach, right? May everybody have these experiences that awaken them to their own power, to the infinite source of love that they are, right? To the possibility of having an epic life beyond their imagination, right? Let that happen to everybody, every single person, right? And have them all look for someone else to help have that same experience, right?
So, Heather, everybody can be a coach. And we actually work with everyone
Right.
to self coach themselves so
Yes.
that when they're going through something, you have the ability to self create and then give to others. So, everyone literally, and guess what? Everyone does coach every single day because really,
Yeah.
coaching is just leading someone to help them with something. And somewhere
Yeah.
along the line, we help someone do something. We may not put on the lens that this is coaching, but imagine if people start to see themselves as, wait a second, I can self-coach myself and then I can help others do that for
Yeah.
them.
Or what if we already are all coaching ourselves already and we're leading ourselves exactly to where we are, right? Like I remember I was cleaning up from the in the place that we were staying, and I was leaving it really clean, and people thought I was cleaning too much because the cleaning people are coming. And I said, "My dad taught me to leave every space, every campsite, everything better than when I found it, right? That's what I do. I show up and I do that, right? And we have that possibility, like you said, to do that for ourselves every day. What if we show up in a way, coaching ourselves every single day, leaving ourselves better, right, than we found ourselves that morning, which it sounds like what you do with your practice every morning, just that.
So, how do we raise our standard to do that? Rob and Heather, I want to know that from you. So, that is why we exist, because
Yeah.
there's a standard you see out there that says, I want a piece of that standard. I want a piece of that being. Rob, I just want some of what you have.
Yes.
That's what this is. We're always, coaches have coaches. You and I
Yeah.
have coaches. Our
Yeah.
coaches have coaches. So, we exist to continually self-create and get better and level up. And that's the beauty of all of this, being around growth-oriented people. And you
Yeah.
know, it's amazing that when I'm coaching with someone, I'm getting an equal or more amount out of it than they are.
It's so true. I get off every single coaching call or these conversations, right? And I come off of it a little bit high, right? From the possibility that now I understand that I didn't a few minutes ago, right? Every time someone brings, right, something challenging them in their life, right? We're exploring it together. We're creating something new every single time. There's no, like you said, the answers are inside of people. There's no cookie cutter, I'm going to tell you what to do because I have all the answers, right? It's just me bringing my version of my understanding, my philosophy, really, right, into the conversation. And all of a sudden, your life looks completely different, right? And that changes me too, every time.
I think about two of the things in my uh, word of the year, love. I have a love of possibility, and the answers to any question is in the love I create.
Oh my goodness. I love the transition from people seeing love as like a lot of like, I like it a lot, to love as an action, right? And when we show up with love as an action, like you said, the love that I create, right? Viewing every single action in the lens of love, right? Coming from a place of love. That is when it's a gift to live, right?
The very first thing, I create love by what I say and what I think.
Yeah.
And I learned these from JP and Steve and a variety of
Yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah,
So
yeah,
by
yeah.
no means are these all self creations by me. But when
Right.
you start to feel into these things, if you're like, wait a second, you're telling me I can create love right now, all by what I say. Like, man, I love being on this podcast with Heather right now. You're like, yeah. Or I can be like, Heather, your personality is just so warm and amazing. And this has been the best conversation of my day. Boom, creating love right there. Or by what I think. And it's like, Man, I just think about when I found out that we were having a son and I dreamed of it my entire life. You're like, man, I was such in love in that moment. You're like, whoa, I can do this whenever I
It's
want.
back in your body anytime, right? So my commitment to in February was to be the most loving person that I know. And like you said, this doesn't mean I'm comparing myself to anybody else. What I wanted to do is show up that way for myself, like committed to it. I'm going to say thank you to myself more than anyone says thank you to me. I'm going to compliment myself more than anybody compliments me. I'm going to show up for my dreams. I say I'm going to have every time I'm with my business, it's I treat it like it's a first date with someone I'm in love with, right? Like I'm going to show myself more love than I've ever experienced from anybody, even me yesterday, right? That's the commitment that creates my actions and my thoughts, right? From a place of love and turns everything I do into an act of love.
And that is the power of consistency.
Yeah.
Do that every single day. Let's see what happens.
Oh my gosh, right? Everyone listening to this, do it. Show up as the most loving person in your life, right? I know Rob does it for him. So many of the other coaches I know do it for them. Um, my last question for you, if you were going to sum it up, and maybe you already did in the beginning, so you can repeat it if you have to, but how has being coached, like having a coach, what if just sum it up and, kind of a little pretty box with a bow, how has having a coach changed your life?
I mean, it's only changed my life forever in all ways with everybody who interacts with me. So,
Yeah. Isn't
like,
it?
literally,
Yeah.
like, coaching is literally a series of ongoing self creations and epiphanies that blow your mind to where you're like, holy crap, I cannot believe I just learned that. And then you realize it happens literally every week or every day into perpetuity. And you're like, why would I ever stop being
Yeah.
coached or being around people like this? Because it's an insight for self-improvement nonstop. It's
Yeah.
like we can always be more loving, more giving, more caring, more everything. And it is the most amazing thing ever. It is. Once you give your, put it this way, when you give yourself that gift, and it's truly a gift to commit to yourself and be open to the possibility and the new perspectives and lenses and ways of being. The excitement I have for being coached is the same way I show up for coaching everybody else, because it's like, oh my God, you guys won't believe this thing, and helping somebody else create that for themselves.
Yeah, it's such an honor, right? Every time I'm with JP, so we have the same coach. His name's John Patrick Morgan. Every time I'm with him, whether I'm being coached myself or with somebody else, I become a more loving person, right? I become more free. I become more clear. Um, as I go through my personal development or growth work, I find that I am going not backwards, but becoming more childlike, right? I can find the joy of childhood again. It's not all the shoulds aren't in the way anymore, right? Which it's ironic that me coming into my full adulthood, because that's really what we're doing, right? Our full power, our full capability reminds me of being a kid again. Like that's how fun it is, right? That's how um, enjoyable, right? Adult, when people say, they're tired of adulting, like I get that, right? And holy crap, it's an honor, right? When you show up to it like a Rob does, or like a Heather does, or like a JP does.
Yeah. And I think about just right before this podcast, I watched my son, and he's 3 months old, and we just put him into one of those little play things where his legs go in the middle and there's a bunch of little things he can push like this. And I just watched him as he literally just moved his hand and touched the thing, and it was like, ah! The happiest person in the world. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm melting right now. And it's like when you say you go back to this childlike state, that's exactly what you want, because he literally just touched something and his mind was like, this is the greatest thing
Yeah.
ever. Why would
Yeah.
we not want that in everything that we do? Because
Yeah.
remember, we go back to the default of the world, to where the world has desensitized us of our dreams and everything that we want. When I look at my 3-month-old son, and he literally has his entire life and absolute possibilities in front of him, and he's just happy that he touched something. I'm like,
Yes.
man, reconnecting to that childhood love of life. I want to give that gift everybody.
Oh my goodness, it's access. It's re-accessing, right? All the beauty that is around us in every moment. And life is a hard place to live, and it is infinitely beautiful. And to go through life with just the hard and not the infinitely beautiful, that's the change we're trying to make, right? We want everybody to have all of it. It's all available all around us all the time. And so, Rob, you are such an inspiration for me. When I see you around, when I think of you, when I saw you on my calendar, I'm now going to make a compliment file. Thank you for that. My goodness, changing my life just through this conversation. It's been an honor, such an honor to talk about love and creation and freedom with you today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. I love that your light shines so bright and you can feel your love and energy and warmth. So I want to recognize that in you. You're an amazing person doing amazing things.
Oh, thank you so much, Rob. I can't wait until we talk again.